Are the Cavs soft? We've asked it a million times, but after the trades for Harden, Ellis, and Schröder, are they still soft? We were talking about their matching physicality for Detroit these last two matchups.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? Are they
Dustin,
still soft?
what do you think?
Are the Cavs soft?
Are they still soft, or have they changed?
They're not one ply anymore.
Okay.
They're like 2-ply.
All right. Not quite 3-ply.
No, I mean, they're not like the...
They've improved their plyness.
What's the real soft stuff? They're not Charmin.
Yeah. Okay.
They're not Charmin soft.
Yeah.
But they're still a little soft.
They're not quite like prison toilet paper.
I feel like because Jarrett Allen stepped his game up a little more and is being a little bit more assertive with Harden and Ellis and Schröder, those two guys specifically have added a little bit of juice to the team. They're playing harder, I think. I think last night was a great example of a team that, like, a soft team doesn't win that game.
That's true.
So I can't say they're soft. I say that they're not the most hard-nosed team in the game. I mean, they're not the Pistons with Bill Laimbeer, you know what I mean? But they're certainly not the most finesse team we've ever seen.
Mike.
So there's a couple ways to look at this question. And I think it's first and foremost worth mentioning that whatever they do in the regular season could all crumble if they don't do it in the playoffs. Yeah. And we can say they've shed the soft label because what we saw last night against Detroit, what we saw on Friday against Detroit, even in the loss, what we saw last Wednesday against their last Tuesday against the Knicks, where they were the more physical team against a high-caliber playoff team. And none of it will matter in the end if they come out and they don't play like this in the playoffs. So I understand that's the caveat around this whole conversation. We agree, like, they have to prove it in the playoffs. However, softness, toughness, it's more of a mentality than a physical thing. And I think from a mental standpoint, the swap of DeAndre Hunter and Darius Garland for Keon Ellis, Dennis Schröder, and James Harden has changed the entire complexion and mental makeup of this team. You can hear it in the way they talk. We talk about belief in yourself, right? Before these trades, the Cavs were saying the right things. Donovan Mitchell was saying the right things. Jarrett Allen, they were saying what you wanted to hear. It's a process. We're not worried by the early disappointing results. It'll all come back to how we want it to get to at a certain point. But even being 3 feet away from them, asking them those questions, you didn't always believe what they said. And now, for whatever reason, after these deals, they're saying it with a different bravado and a different confidence, a different aura, that they believe what they're actually saying. And when you believe what you're saying, it goes out and it translates onto the court. Detroit's a physical basketball team, and last night the Cavs were the more physical team. On Friday against Detroit, without James Harden, without Donovan Mitchell, they were the more physical team. And you know who some of the guys that were the catalyst in turning that around? Schröder and Ellis. And they come, and we talked about Ellis earlier, the frenetic energy he plays with on the defensive end of the court, that brings and rises everyone else's energy around. Dennis Schröder's a pain in the butt. Dean Wade, in his first game, when they acquired Schröder, we talked to Dean Wade. I'm using this word for word from Dean. Dennis is a pain in the ass. I'm glad he's on my team now, so I don't have to play against him. Yeah, I think they're on the right trajectory to becoming a tough team. They're certainly tougher than they were before. I'm not ready to just completely erase the soft label until they prove it to me in the playoffs, but they're certainly trending in the right direction. The stock is up on their toughness scale, and I think a big reason is the new guys they've acquired.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what you guys have said. Ultimately, you can't shed the label till you prove you're not soft when it matters.
Yes.
But they've shown a level of toughness recently that they hadn't showed in the past. However, I don't think we were calling them soft during the regular season last year, were we? I don't think so.
I think since they got punked by the Knicks in that playoffs, JB's last playoffs season.
We kept saying they had a lot to prove, but we weren't. When they were winning almost every game last year, we were not talking about them being soft because we had convinced ourselves that they would be a different team in the playoffs last year. We were giving them the benefit of the doubt, and since last year's playoffs, we've just said they're soft. The regular season doesn't matter; they're soft.
They're soft against the Pacers.
100%. So now they're playing clearly. The chemistry on this team has changed. The new guys have made a huge difference. I think Jalen Tyson made a huge difference.
Yes.
He didn't have
Yes.
It wasn't enough by himself, but him now in combo with the new guys they've brought in has changed the level. However, as you said, Mike, this is all about mental toughness. And we're going to find out how mentally tough they are when they face adversity in the postseason. Whether that's in the first round or whatever it is, they will face adversity at some point in the postseason. And then we're going to find out if this team is now really tough, or at least tougher than they've been in the past. Until that happens in the postseason, we don't know for sure.
Yeah.
I think we all agree it's trending in the right direction. They seem tougher than they've been in the past. But there's still a little part of you that's like, well, okay, I like the way it's going now, but I like the way it was going last year, and it all fell apart.
And I think toughness is contagious in a way. Like if you're if
sure.
you're at a bar, right?
Yeah.
And someone's talking smack and whatever, they're bumping into you, and you turn around, and you're like, he does it again. I'm gonna swing on this person, right?
Yeah.
And you turn around, it's just you, and the guy's bigger than you. Like, yeah, maybe not.
Yeah, right.
But if I was with you and Dustin at a bar and someone's
Yeah.
doing that, got a little more confidence because I got guys behind me that if things go bad, I got two guys I'm ready to go to war with. And I'm telling you, Schröder's like that. You want to go to war with Schröder on your side, not on the other side. Keon Ellis is like that. Jalen Tyson's like that. Thomas Bryant, who we haven't given any mention to yet, is like that. Those four, and James Harden obviously is a guy you much rather. I know he has his playoff shortcomings and all that, but toughness has never been a question with James Harden.
Yeah.
Those guys being behind some of the Evan Mobleys and the Jarrett Allens and them knowing, if push comes to shove, like, these guys are on my side now, I think just gives them an extra level of, all right, yeah, screw it, I'm here. Let's do it. Let's rock. You want to scrap? Let's go scrap. Because I got these guys behind me now. And I just think it's contagious. And you can just feel, I'm telling you, I know locker room vibes were awesome last year. It didn't matter. It didn't matter.
But it's been a noticeable difference from pre-trade, post-trade.
Night and day difference.
Yeah.
And even some of the guys that aren't, like, super vocal and have that bravado energy, like, you can tell they're coming into their own. They're more comfortable in their role. They're more comfortable in their position. And I think that does matter. I think those are the things that do matter.
Did James Harden speak yesterday at all about how the injury, like, because he had a lot of turnovers yesterday, like, did that
He just didn't talk. Cavs give people media nights off, so they don't have to do it every game. Last night was a scheduled Harden night off, so he just didn't speak last night. So.
How's he been? I mean, in the locker room.
Really.
Have you talked to him?
He's done 3 media sessions. Real personable.
Get the sense he's happy to be here. Happy-ish to be here.
You know what? He's so deadpan, straightforward, like serious. I haven't gotten any indication either way that he's happy to be here or he hates it here. But he answers every question like. Full answer. It's not one word. He just seems all about the business.
Does he see? Yeah. So that's a good response. Does he seem like early in his career? He seemed like a very mature and
very mature.
Like now, it seems like he's almost like a coach on the floor, a little bit in a lot of ways.
Kenny said, was it pregame this game or last?
His basketball IQ is off the charts.
Kenny said he's one of the smartest players he's ever coached, and he's asking James on a regular basis, what do you want to do in these situations? Because football and basketball coaching is a little different, right? When you're on the court, things are happening so fast. It's not like every play is called. When you're on the court, you can see stuff that Kenny can't see from the opposite end of the court on the bench, right? Like they have the replay, they can go back. So he's asking, hey, James, we just ran this. What'd you see? Did he slip? Did he show? Like he gave him a half step. What do you want to do? And he's relying on James Harden to essentially be a assistant coach in a way. But all the young guys, you can tell so James sits next to Naquan, Craig Porter Jr., they have the open two-way spot. They just signed Olivier Sarr, so it was an open locker yesterday. But those guys come over. James talks to them for a little bit after the game. Then James does his stuff. Very, very businesslike. Very businesslike. Nice. But certainly has not been anything that would be in bad taste by any means thus far.
I like that. I mean,
and he's big as hell. Like
is he?
His shoulders like yay wide. Like
what position would he play in football? If you saw him in the Browns locker room, you'd be like, he's
tight end.
Really?
He's like built like a Njoku. I'm serious.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because he's tall. He's like 6'5", like, and his shoulders are big dude.
Yeah, you don't think of him being that big, but for a football player, he would be very big.
Right.
Well, that's what I was saying.
He's got to be
Tyson.
6. Yeah. What is he? 6'4", 6'5"?
He's like 6'5", yeah. But he's like.
But he's thick.
Yeah. He's
basketball players, especially if they play guard. You never think these guys are that tall.
I know.
I mean, he'd be one of the tallest guys on the football field.
I know. You think, especially like Steph Curry, you're like, oh, he's tiny.
Like if you put James Harden, you split him out wide, and had Denzel go cover him, he'd get he would tower over top of Denzel Ward.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
I mean, Jalen Tyson's the same size as Megatron was.
Really?
6'5", 220.
Yeah, right.
Like
yeah, man. I just for whatever reason he didn't look that big.
Right.
Jalen Tyson's stand next to.
Well, I haven't stood next to him yet, but but if we draft him, I will. Man, he's a big dude, huh?
No, Jalen, not Jordan. Jordan.
How tall is Jordan?
6'2".
Okay.
Jalen's 6. Jalen stopped playing football
is like me
because he got tall.
Okay.
And he said, they kept coming for my knees because I was too tall.
Yeah.
He's making more money playing basketball.
Real quick on the toughness thing. Dustin, your experiences in different locker rooms, did you know when a team was tough versus when it wasn't tough?
Yeah.
What was the giveaway from a player standpoint when a team was tough versus not?
Oh, I mean, I just think that the team responds to the veterans and the leaders on the team. And it's almost like it doesn't really have to be that the team, you just sort of get pushed around a little bit. You know what I mean? Like it's probably a little different in football. I played defense, right? So it's easier to see when a defense is soft because, teams can run the ball at will on you, and then when they can do that, then they can pretty much do everything else that they want. And when you're just getting bullied on defense, then you sort of feel like there's nothing you can do. And as a football player, there's 10 other guys on the field with you, so you're like, well, I can only do so much. It's tough. It definitely translates across the board when you're getting your ass kicked, essentially.
So you said that real quick.
Yeah.
I think toughness in any sport is when you can impose your will on another team, right?
Yeah.
Last night, and this is why I think the Cavs trending in the right direction. If you go back to the fourth quarter, crunch time, I don't know the exact time. Let's say from like 6 minutes to about 2 minutes. And I'm not sure if any of these will be in here. Kenny said after the game they ran the same play 8 straight times.
Oh, well, what's wrong with that?
Because they couldn't stop it.
And he said, James said, hey, the way they're guarding this, we're going to get a good look every time.
Yeah.
Let's make them stop it.
They couldn't.
Didn't stop it. And they didn't make a shot every time, obviously. But they ran the same little – it's all window dressing to get James Harden in a pick and roll on the left side of the court.
Right.
8 straight times down the stretch they ran that play. The Cavs imposed their will on Detroit. And the one thing we said about Detroit going in, we know their offense is iffy. They don't have to play. They're tough. They're a tough team. And the Cavs were able to impose their will down the stretch, and they forced Detroit to play their style, not them playing to Detroit style. I think that is a tangible way to look at toughness in the NBA.
But ultimately, more than any other sport, the NBA is so much different in the postseason.
Yes,
versus the
100%.
The way you prepare, it's so different. So we look for statement wins and all this stuff, and I just don't think much of it matters.
No,
You're going to prepare differently. Guys are going to play differently. Guys are going to get minutes differently once we get to the postseason.